Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to cook some authentic Jamaican chicken back. Here I have my beta fat curry and I'm just going in and adding that to my chicken back. You can add whichever season you want first, but I just prefer to add my coffee first. I'm now going in with some Old Bay and I'm adding a generous amount of that to my chicken back. I'll then be going in with some hot and spicy season. I do not use pepper because I have kids, so this is the most suitable option for me. Please bear in mind that each of these seasonings I've used about 1 tablespoon. So here I am, I'm going in with some chicken seasoning, and then we'll be adding some all-purpose. Lastly, I'm going in with some seasoning salt or flavor enhancer, which you guys can substitute for salt. But if I use this seasoning, I tend not to add any salt to my meat. I'm now adding some fresh thymes, some spring onions or scallion, whichever you call it, some onions, and some garlics. I'll then proceed to incorporate this really well with my meat and just leave that to marinate. So after my meat has been marinated, I've just used my pan and I've added some oil to it. And then once it's hot, I've burned some curry powder. At this point, you can add ginger and garlic into your heated oil and burn your curry, but I didn't have no ginger, and you can already see that I've added garlic to my meat, so I'm not doing that. So after my curry was burnt to my liking, I proceeded to add the chicken back in the pot one at a time and just get it to sear and catch some color on one side, and then flipping it and letting it catching some color on the other side. At this point, I'm trying to flip the chicken back and they weren't cooperating with me. So, I had to proceed and use my hand to help me out a bit. But yeah, we're just flipping it on the opposite side and letting it sear and catch some color as well. I then proceeded to add some boiled kettle water, and I've just added that small amount because I didn't want my meat to be submerged. And if you know, chicken is easy to cook and there is no difference when cooking chicken back. It's quite easy to cook. I've just left that to simmer, and then I'm now moving over to my ground provisions because we're going to do this with some dumplings. I prefer cornmeal dumpling, but this day I've run out of cornmeal, so I had to go for some plain flour. The first thing I'm doing is just greasing my hands with the oil, and this just prevent the stains from the banana leaving a mark on your hands when you peel them. You don't have to peel your bananas if you don't want to. You can just take the top and bottom off, as you can see in this clip, and just adding it to your pot. But I don't want to go through the extra hassle of having to peel my bananas before eating them, so I peel it prior to adding it to the pot. Once my bananas were peeled, I then moved over to my sweet potato, and this is the authentic Jamaican sweet potato. They are quite expensive. I don't know why I buy them to begin with, but I have to say they taste way better, so you can't excuse that. So yeah, I'm just peeling my sweet potatoes, and then I'll just cut them into the desired size that I want. And then as for my corn, as it has already been pre-cut, we're just gonna add that in. I'll then give my ground provisions a wash, and I'll move over to kneading my dough for my dumpling. So to make my dough, I'll be using some plain flour. It doesn't have to be brand specific, flour is flour. So I'm just adding a generous amount to my bowl, and I'll be adding some salt also to my bowl, and incorporate that, then proceed to kneading my dough using some water. Please also note that I've also added a bit of salt to my boiling water that I'll be putting the dumplings in, and I've also added a bit of oil to prevent the bananas from changing colors when they're in the water. So here I am kneading my dough, and I'm just gradually adding water and incorporating that in the flour, and that just prevents you from making your dough too thick or too loose. I realized that I didn't add my corns in and my sweet potatoes, and if you know that these take quite long to boil, so I've just added that into my pot, and I realistically moved on to finish kneading my dough. After I finished kneading my dough, I then formulated them in the shape that I want, and that just prevent the hassle of having to knead the dough one at a time whilst doing this video. So as you can see from this clip, I'm just adding my dumplings into the water, and I'll just leave that to boil. I then went back over to my chicken back, and as you can see, the liquid has reduced, and I then proceeded to adding in all my vegetables and just a small amount of water so the potatoes would be able to cook, and just leaving that to simmer and for the gravy to thicken. um, Once that was done, I then plated my dish. I realized last minute that I didn't add my plantain to my boiling pot, so you'll see me in the next coming clips adding my plantains to the pot. Once my ground provisions were boiled, I then proceeded to plate up my dish. Yeah, so this is how my dish turned out. You'll see it in the next coming clips. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video, and if you do like this video, then please give me a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe, please. Love. Bye.